Greetings and welcome to the Aztec Minerals Corporation webinar. It is now my pleasure to introduce your host, Simon Diakowski, President and CEO. Thank you. You may begin.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining. Aztec Minerals is a mineral exploration company that's focused on making large new polymetallic mineral discoveries. The company is publicly traded and it's listed on both the OTCQB under the symbol AZZTF, as well as the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AZT. Before I get too much into the presentation, I will caution you that I will be making forward-looking statements, and I would encourage you to review the cautionary statement that's available on our website, aztecminerals.com. To introduce Aztec, we are a company with a strategy to explore for large elephant-sized deposits. Elephant-sized deposits are known to be large ore deposits. Major mining companies typically don't explore as often as junior exploration companies do, and they require junior exploration companies to make new discoveries in order to sustain their businesses by acquiring them after they've been discovered in the riskier phase of exploration in order to replace their reserves. In recent years, junior companies have come to dominate the discovery scene, and they tend to have the best expertise in that area. They're also, junior companies are also very interesting for speculative early stage investors, as potential acquisitions and discoveries tend to reward early investors with potentially very large gains. Aztec is focused in North America. We believe that North America offers some of the best mining jurisdictions in the world. The jurisdictions that we're currently located in are Arizona and Sonora in Mexico. And these are known to be some of the safest mining jurisdictions in the world. They have low political risk, good rule of law, reasonable tax regimes with well-developed mining infrastructure. As well, in order for any exploration company to be successful, you need to have a very strong management team. Aztec has that in spades. The chairman of Aztec is a gentleman by the name of Bradford Cook. He's also the CEO of Endeavour Silver, which is a mid-tier silver company listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. Our chief geologist is a gentleman by the name of Joey Wilkins. He is a mining exploration geologist with over 30 years of experience. He began his career at Kennecott. He's credited with making a mining discovery on the Cervantes project, which Aztec currently has, and he leads our exploration group as the chief geologist and VP of exploration. In terms of the board, we're well supported with mining professionals who have a history of making discoveries and selling companies. Specifically, Mark Rebliati has recently won Prospector of the Year in Canada for his multiple porphyry discoveries with the Hunter Dickinson Group. As well, the board is supported by Director Pat Veris, who made a major copper discovery in Chile for his company called Far West Mining that was ultimately sold in 2011 for over $600 million. And he's also sold a potash company that was called Western Potash several years ago. Focusing back in on Aztec's business plan, we have two projects, one in Sonora called Cervantes, and then one in Arizona called Tombstone. Our share structure is relatively tight. We have 52 million shares outstanding at a price of 44 cents. So our market cap is around the $23 million mark. 37% of our shares are closely held, with an IPO occurring just 3 years ago. So it's a fairly new company that's acquired an interest in two properties. Reasonable valuation and very closely held. About 37% of the shares are held with close associates and directors. I will skip down to the next slide here. Sorry, that's a review of our last slide, but we'll start on our project. So Tombstone and Cervantes on the slide location, the project location slide you can see here. So we're located in southern Arizona at Tombstone, about 45 minutes away from Tucson. And then we're also located in northern Mexico in Sonora State, about 160 kilometers west of Hermosillo as a point of reference. So both excellent mining jurisdictions. Skipping down to the Tombstone location. So we are located approximately 40 miles northeast of a famous discovery known as the Taylor deposit, which I'll touch on later, but it serves as a model for one of our targets at Tombstone. Tombstone is a past-producing silver district. Between the years of 1870 and 1930, almost 30 million ounces of silver were produced from the district. And the project that Aztec is earning into right now controls a good chunk of that district, as well as an old open pit mine known as the Contention Pit. The Contention Pit was in operation as late as the 1980s, where they were mining gold, silver from epithermal veins right from surface in an open pit heap leach environment. The thing that we really like about Tombstone is twofold. We like the potential to expand the mineralization near surface at the Contention open pit. And as well, we like the prospects for drilling below the pit and hopefully, and investigating the possibility of replicating the success of the Taylor discovery, which I mentioned was made just 40 miles away to the southwest. The Taylor deposit is in a similar geological setting to Tombstone, and the project was actually discovered underneath a past-producing silver district where the company that was operating at the time, called Arizona Mining, drilled deep below the old producing open pit mine and discovered what's known as massive sulfide mineralization, and ultimately developed one of the largest zinc equivalent deposits in the world, and we're able to attract the interest of a company called South32, a large Australian diversified mining company who initially invested into Arizona Mining on the basis of their initial drill success, and then within 3 years ultimately came to an agreement for a friendly all-cash takeover of about $1.8 billion. So, we highlight this as, obviously this is a very best case development scenario for a company, an exploration company looking for these elephant deposits. And, we're fortunate to have this as a discovery model and a close comparison to, a discovery that was made just 40 miles away. So there's just a visual depiction of how Arizona Mining developed their company in value over a 3-year period. Skipping down to the next slide, we've got a plan view of our project. So we reside just south of the town of Tombstone, Arizona. Tombstone, Arizona is a well-known mining town, and it's also a well-known town in terms of Western lore. It is the site of the historic shootout at the OK Corral, but generally it's a very mining-friendly town. It's been supported by mining over the decades. Very it's like I said, it's a place where mining's well known. It runs in the local residents' blood in a way. Slide 10, we have switching over here. Just again, a more detailed plan view summarizing some of the geophysical work that the technical team has done since acquiring an option to acquire the project 2 years ago. Providing multiple drill targets. Aztec itself has never drilled the property. We're gearing up to do so over the next few weeks. And in fact, we have some new information on slide 11 that should bolster our potential for drilling success. So we've run a deep geophysical survey, the deepest on the property, to see if there are potential targets below the old mine. And we look forward to exploring these as we begin drilling. One of the extremely attractive, in my opinion, aspects of this property and project is that we will be following up on historic drill results of previous operators. And I point you to slide 13, where we have some highlights of previous operators drilling. So a junior company by the name of USMX in the early 90s drilled several reverse circulation holes in an attempt to find more ore near surface at the contention open pit, and they did have some good success. We highlight some of the numbers here. In one hole, they encountered 68.58 meters of 1.42 grams of gold, 30 grams of silver. In another hole, 40 meters and 1.2 grams of gold, 50 grams of silver. So very encouraging numbers. And keep in mind that USMX was drilling this deposit at a time when gold was far lower than it is today, and it's fortuitous that we're speaking today with gold trading at around $2,000 an ounce and silver up at around $25 an ounce. So gold at an all-time high and silver on its way back up after taking a breather for the last few years. But just to highlight that when USMX was drilling, gold was closer to $250 an ounce, and silver was close to $5 an ounce. So, we'll actually be drilling, in the area, doing some infill drilling, confirmation drilling, and expansion drilling in the shallow contention open pit to see, if there's more ore to be proven up. And then that represents the first target. That's the near surface, the shallow mineralization. So that's a drill program that's due to kick off over the next several weeks. So investors can look forward to following along Aztec's progress there. But when we've disclosed that we've just completed a financing to support that program, fully funded program, and we'll have details out on that over the next few weeks as the program develops. And then our secondary target, if you will, at Tombstone or another drilling, and that is below the old open pit, the contention open pit. And that is what where we're looking for the Taylor style mineralization. So, a little bit deeper below. So we plan to drill some holes, deeper than 500 meters below the surface. And, we're encouraged to do so because Santa Fe Mining in the late 90s drilled to the north of our current targets, and they did actually encounter massive sulfide mineralization. And a highlight of that is to be found on this slide on T8, where Santa Fe Mining encountered 7 meters of 0.6% copper, 32 grams of silver, and a combined 9.1% lead zinc. So those numbers, do indicate that there's very good potential for massive sulfide mineralization in the limestone, in the hard rock below the near surface mineralization that was mined at the contention open pit. And we look forward to exploring that. And we'll note that the holes in this table summarizing Santa Fe's drilling reside on the perimeter of our property. And to our knowledge, there hasn't been much deep drilling in the center of the property where we have identified the geophysical targets that we're eager to test. So in a nutshell, Tombstone is a historic silver district. Aztec acquired an option to acquire 75% interest in the project in December of 2017. In order to complete the the vesting of our 75% interest from our partner, we have to spend another $700,000 Canadian thereabouts. And we should have that earn-in completed with the completion of upcoming drill programs. So, it's a very exciting time for Aztec to be completing its maiden drill program at Tombstone. And like I mentioned, it will be coming up relatively quickly here. We hope to be drilling in August, and we'll have, results into the fall here. And again, we're starting with reverse circulation drilling, shallow epithermal gold silver mineralization in the old mine, seeing if we can make it larger, and then testing with a couple of holes the potential for massive sulfides at depth below the old mine. So that concludes the portion on Tombstone. That's the near-term news. And now I'll switch focus to Aztec's other project, and this is the project that the company actually went public with. It is known as Cervantes. So Cervantes is located in Sonora, Mexico, again, 160 kilometers east of Hermosillo. And it is a very large property. It's 3,600 hectares. It's got very good road access. It's located on private land. It has a lot of the intangible aspects that become important as you drill and discover mineralization. So it's very well located. The Aztec acquired this option as part of its initial public offering in 2017, and the company had an option to acquire 65% interest in the project by conducting some work expenditures and share issuances and cash payments. And Aztec has, as of last August, met those earn-in requirements and is in the process of signing a joint venture agreement with a company called Kootenay Silver. We expect that to be wrapped up shortly over the next couple of months. The thing that's exciting about Cervantes is that Joey Wilkins' team was able to actually make a drill discovery of gold mineralization on Aztec's first pass of drilling in 2018. So, Aztec and our partner Kootenay Silver will look forward to following up on that when work resumes later this year and into next year. Just to highlight the discovery that was made. So in an area of the property known as the California Zone, it's a large area of elevated golden soil. It's around 900 meters long by 600 meters wide. Drills set up there in 2018. They drilled 14 holes into what was found to be, I'll just skip down to the highlights of the drilling, but what was found to be a fairly large system of gold in oxide gold in a system that's known to be an oxide cap of potentially a larger gold. I'll just skip to slide 20 here to show. So this is a representation. The red line represents the gold-bearing soil anomaly, and some of the highlights of the drilling can be seen in the image below there. The discovery holes that were made in 2018 included 160 meters of 0.77 grams of gold, including 80 meters of over 1 gram of gold, 130 meters of 0.71 grams gold, 118 meters of 0.63. The company engaged in some preliminary metallurgical testing to test potential recoveries. Those tests came back positively with gold recoveries in the 80 to 90% range. So it's a very good start, and it's an exciting project to follow up on now that the company has funding in place. And we hope to complete some more mapping, sampling work later into this fall before embarking on a phase 2 drill program with our partner Kootenay Silver, which would include testing some other zones on the property, as well as infill drilling some of the results that we had produced in 2018. Just to summarize some of the other opportunities on the property. So, to date, there have been 11 prospective mineralized zones related to porphyry mineralization identified on the property, and to date, Aztec has only drilled one, the California zone. So there's good opportunity to explore some of these other zones as we get back into a phase 2 exploration program. Again, the California zone, it's wide open laterally into depth. There's an induced polarization IP anomaly that strengthens at depth. So again, while the initial drilling focused on the shallow oxide gold mineralization, there has not been much drill testing of porphyry copper gold mineralization below that oxide zone. So with additional funding and phase 2 work program, Aztec and Kootenay will be able to explore that aspect of the property. So again, we look forward to getting back into work at Cervantes, the fourth quarter of this year, and expect to be drilling, hopefully early in 2021. I will flip down to the next slide. Again, so just to summarize the near-term catalyst. So, obviously, investors always look for news flow and catalysts when it comes to exploration companies. So Tombstone, one of our previous catalysts was the interpretation of our AMT deep geophysical survey. So that was completed in May. We're now in the planning and permitting stages of our phase 1 drill program at Tombstone to test the shallow target, bulk tonnage epithermal gold silver. and as well as the deeper targets that were mentioned earlier. At Cervantes, we're in the final stages of finalizing the joint venture agreement with Kootenay Silver, and that will allow us, with our partner, to recommence exploration there. We plan on initially extending some mapping and structural sampling at surface at Cervantes, and then planning and permitting a larger phase 2 drill program at California. To touch on our capital structure, so we currently have 52 million shares outstanding, 70 million fully diluted. Insiders own about 10% of the company. We have a strategic investor in Coeur Mining that holds about 5% of the company, closely held outside of our large shareholder, Coeur, and our insiders. We have a group of about 20% that hold the stock, so it's fairly well held. We have cash of $3 million. We closed the financing just 2 weeks ago in order to support our first phase of drilling at Tombstone and our next phase of work at Cervantes, so we're well capitalized. The share price has been increasing as we've been heading towards our drill program, so it seems like the market's excited to see what the drill bit will yield. And we're excited to get news out to the market over the next several weeks on our drill program at Tombstone and later at Cervantes. I should have mentioned, if there are any questions about anything in the presentation, I'm happy to answer those. It looks like there have been a few coming in, so I will begin answering the questions. So the first question that we have here is there a 43-101? If so, what is the resource? So I will answer that on both questions. On both projects. So there is not yet a 43-101 compliant resource on either project, Tombstone or Cervantes, and our drilling at Tombstone will provide information that will potentially be able to be incorporated into a compliant resource, but we don't have one yet. And the same goes for Cervantes. So there's some drilling there, but we're hoping to with the phase 2 drill program to expand the data set and to potentially be in a position to quantify the resource after some further and subsequent drilling. Second question, your capital raise is complete or essentially complete, so have you yet to announce? So good question. It is complete. We announced that we completed a $3 million financing in 2 tranches. The second tranche closed about 10 days ago. It was around July 31st, we closed a nearly $900,000 tranche, and then 2 weeks preceding that, we closed a $2.2 million tranche. So we are fully funded for our phase 1 drilling at Tombstone. And in fact, that was the third question that was here. So yeah, how are we currently capitalized? We have $3 million in cash, and again, ready to start drilling. So if there are no further questions, thank you for joining. I think that concludes the presentation. We invite shareholders and interested parties to follow along the story. Again, our website is AZTECminerals.com. We are listed on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AZT, and as well on the OTCQB AZZTF. Current market cap $20 million, $20 to $22 million, depending on the trading range. $3 million in cash. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them at any time. I can be reached at 604-619-7469, and my email address simon@aztecminerals.com. So with that, I will conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you so much. This does conclude today's conference. You may disconnect your lines at this time. Thank you for your participation, and have a great day.